How are you doing today? We all know that we should not focus so much on money. Our health is important, our family is great, friends, let's keep it together. But we also understand that we can hardly do anything without some resources. So money must come into play in our daily life. When we're paying bills, we use money, paying fees, transportation, buying fuel, buying food, paying your rent, buying a building, equipment, furniture. You utilize money. Now, how do you manage your personal finances? Many people don't like to hear the word budget, but you ought to budget, we hear. First of all, avoid debt and save first and spend later. There's a lot more to talk about, but I'll just tell you 3 things that I do. One is to prioritize what I need. Another is to stay realistic. Stop keeping up with, not the Kardashians really, stop keeping up with the elites or people you think you are like. Stay on your lane. Sustain every workable action you live by. Where you get resource from, build on it and always stay consistent. My name is Thelma Obaze, and one consistent way to stay getting good things and value added is to be with us on Weekend Deal every Saturday and Sunday. Patience, Eloia Ba, my sister, my friend. Oh, yeah, you look good.
Okay, so talking about personal finances, what exactly is personal finances? It's a term that covers your money, your savings, and your investment. And for you to effectively manage your personal finances, I'm going to reiterate a little on what Thelma has said. Yes, prioritize your spending. There's a difference between needs and wants. You must know exactly what they are and follow it that way. The next one will be, like you said, a realistic budget. Now, first, track your spending in a month. What am I spending money on? Is it eating out, groceries? And after doing that, the next step will be easy. A realistic budget, like you said, because most times when we prioritize our spending, we now say, okay, no, I spent so much on going out to eat, I'm going to reduce it. No. Or you say, no, I'm not even going to budget that anymore. What you do is look at your lifestyle, look at your income, and have a realistic budget. The next one is saving. A long time ago, a wise boss, Mr. Olupidi, told me that if you cannot save 100 naira out of 10 naira, you might not be able to save 1 million out of 10 million. That means that saving is a culture that we must all imbibe. And then investment. If you want to grow your income, invest. Well, it's your favorite weekend show, Weekend Deal, coming to you from the network service of the NTA. My name is Patience Eloy Abba. Today we started at the lounge, but Thelma, let's go to our dining because there is something to drink.
Breakfast? Wow, I see bacon, eggs, vegetables, yam and vegetables.
Am I seeing it?
I know the one seeing it. To have done a wonderful thing for us. You're not here already.
No.
Maybe I'm seeing things.
She's seeing things. Managing our finances, she's seeing things. Okay, thank you for joining us.
You're watching Weekend Deal, and we're talking today about managing personal finances. But you do also know that there's no food for any lazy person, and there's no free lunch even in Freetown, let alone in Nigeria. Good a thing with both Nigerians who are tenacious, hardworking, and resilient, and we have dignity in our labor. So May 1st did not go unnoticed. It was highlighted, and thus we can bring you the sights and sounds of May Day for workers, just like you and I.
Solidarity for solidarity, solidarity forever for the union. Solidarity.
The minimum wage struggle serves as a poignant reminder of the resistance faced by workers and the obstacles deliberately placed by government. It underscores the pressing need for unity across all levels of engagement to advance our shared objectives. We are already working together in every facet of the national minimum wage fixing process to ensure that better results are achieved, which will not only speak to the welfare of Nigerian workers, but will also assist in driving business activities around the nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has become imperative to demand for an upward review of the retirement age and years of service in the entire public service from 60 years to 65 years and 35 years to 40 years. The immediate past administration has increased that of teachers and judges, and we are demanding that others be considered. Only few other establishments, including civil service, are now left out.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu believes that every worker deserves to toil in an environment free from exploitation, discrimination, and oppression. We must therefore strive to create workplaces that foster dignity, respect, job security, and inclusivity for all. The committee's mandate was to provide counsel and suggest a national minimum wage that aligns with our current economic conditions. Since then, the committee, in collaboration with labor leaders, has been diligently working towards proposing a new national minimum wage. Unfortunately, despite concerted efforts, the committee was unable to reach a consensus at its last meeting. These shall be resolved soon, and I assure you that your days of worrying are over.
Good enough, the government has a concern for the workers, but the government has to look deeply into the condition of service as regarding the economic situation currently.
Give or take, everything is pleasant to us. We are happy to hear this, and then we also want to say that we are also happy with the government. We are also looking forward to when the new minimum wage will be announced. But in all, we are happy. So today is an exciting day for us.
Let's hurry up, let's hurry up, let's hurry up.
Okay, Aluta continua, Victoria Aseta. We continue to pray that even as the Nigerian workers are resilient and they are giving their best, the government will smile their way. And if I smile, you know exactly what I mean. Okay, moving on quickly. You know how I told you at the beginning of the show that I gave you some tips on what we can do to manage our personal finances. There is one particular trait that will tie it all together, and that is discipline. No matter how much you have your things planned, if you don't have the discipline to push it through, it will not work. So let's start with our backgrounder now. It will tell us more about managing our personal finances, and it's put together by Francis Ogbe.
Once we talk about personal finances, we are talking about income, expenditure, and expenses of individuals and their families as well. Because you cannot isolate family when it comes to personal finances. If you don't have finances flowing in, then you won't have what to plan on. You won't be able to have expenditure. So the first thing first is your ability to expand the horizon of your income. You may be a salary earner, but the question is your salary going to sustain you for the month? Is your salary going to sustain you for the year? Or you are a business person, what comes as an inflow, what comes to you as extra, is it going to sustain you? If yes, then we can begin to talk about planning, because you can't plan on what you don't have. Why people fall into challenges with finances is because we live for others. We wear clothes because that is the clothes people are wearing. We send our people to a particular school because that is where our peers are sending their children to. We drive a particular car because that's what people drive. For as long as we don't remove that mindset, we'll never go out of financial challenges. We may have to begin to deliberately live our own life. So I wear this shirt because that is the shirt I want to wear and that is the shirt I can afford. Do not be indebted if there is no need for it. I have counseled a lot of people who go to banks, go to money lenders, take money just because the money is available for them to take. I once asked somebody who came to me for an advice on he wants to take a loan. And the first question I asked him, what do you want to do with it? And he said, no problem, when I take it. So he doesn't even know what to do with it. And then the next question I asked him, how do you plan to pay? And he was stammering. I asked him the third question, how much is it going to cost you? So what is the interest rate? And how much will it amount to at the end of the day? And he was unable to answer these three questions. And I told him, if you can't answer these three questions, then don't even go there in the first instance. Once what you earn cannot take care of you and service your loan, then there will be an issue. But then you can have other strategies to actually be able to get things at a cheaper rate, or get finances at a cheaper rate, or get things done without necessarily being indebted. Try to go to friends, try to go to family, try to buy and then defer payments. So these are better ways to do it, but you must have that credibility. If you don't have that credibility, people wouldn't want to sell to you on credit. We are always happy when we spend money, but then for you that have limited resources, you have to make sure that you don't spend for spending's sake. You must spend because there is need for you to spend. You need to completely be disciplined to avoid impulse buying. Don't buy things because there is discounts. Don't buy things because they are doing sales. Don't buy things because the person selling is a friend or a family member. No. You buy things because there is a value to be derived from buying that thing. If there is no value, then why buy? There are people that will buy clothes and just go and dump in their wardrobe. So why are you buying? Things that are not important, cut them. Things that are important, but they're not urgent, they're not needed now, avoid them. Concentrate on things that are very important and they are urgent. Focus your resources on that. If you have extra, then you can look other ways. If you don't have extra, deliberately target those things that are necessary for the survival of the family.
Our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on managing personal finances. Weekend Deal!
Managing your personal finance adequately is so key, hence our discourse. And we have experts in the house who will lend their expert advice and contribution to this topic. And that's how we meet, greet, and welcome Mrs. Kelechi Kingsley, Chief Executive Officer, Lead Bold Consulting. Let's get to see her profile.
Okay, madam, you're welcome to Weekend Deal. Okay, our next guest is a serious player in the financial sector, a man who keeps books, balance sheet, and ensure that organizations work well. I'm talking about an accountant. Sir, you're welcome to Weekend Deal. Isaac Tuchuku Okehe, you're welcome to Weekend Deal.
Thank you.
Yes, I mean, what can we talk about if we don't have an accountant in the house to tell us? Okay, so I know, let's just cut straight to the conversation. I know you balance accounts and the things you will do in our personal life. How do we apply this in order to manage our resources? What can we do? Some of your accounting techniques. How can I apply it to my personal life in order for the small money I have to balance out?
Thank you. You know, the way things are in this country, considering the inflation rate, managing one's finances is key. Number one, you have to know what comes in. That's, you have to know your income. You have to know your expenditure. And you now prioritize your expenditure by what we call scale of preference. That is to know what you do at any point in time. When you have done your scale of preference, you ensure that you follow it strictly as you have prioritized it. Then, even though your income is small, you must ensure too that you have this habit of savings. You save the much you can.
Yeah.
When you have done that, when you're done with your savings, then the next step is for you to look out if there are other avenues of income coming in. Then the next step after that is for you to make provision for what we call the rainy days. Then you know
The rain does fall.
It does fall, whether we like it or not.
the arrangements you made earlier on, there might be variations to it. You monitor it. If you have done all that, you now relax. The storm will be over.
I like I smiled that he relaxed. I actually relaxed when he said you cannot relax.
Very interesting line of there, I must say, our dear accountant, you know. In one was saying it in English language, we're communicating using fine words and semantics, it all flows. But in spite of all of that, even if we follow it to the letter, there are still immense challenges. For example, on the African continent, why people that have extras in terms of extended family, patients use the term my small money, and sometimes it's no joke, because what it may be big for some people, for others is their tithes, it's just a pittance. But in spite of what we earn, we are obliged to save. Many a time that savings can amount to little or not when the rain starts to fall. And sometimes the duration of the rainy season, you know, in our personal lives can be longer than our wet and dry seasons here. Sometimes even your rainy season coincides with another person's rainy season, and they usually come to you for help, maybe from the extended family, maybe your children, your sibling. Now, the rainy season is not as easy for us to determine as we would like. What then do we do? The money is small, extended family. We must follow rules and principles to make it work. Where are we? How can we situate ourselves in a way that we will still stand front and center and not look like we don't want to help those who need our little resource?
Well, the first thing to do is to understand that you have a responsibility. As a leadership consultant, I always take things from leadership. And I describe leadership as taking responsibility. One of the things that help us to maximize our potentials is our ability to recognize the potentials that lie within us. And when you take 100% responsibility of your life, not blaming anybody for the things that happen in your life, you are more positive to life. So each and every one of us have got the ability to maximize our income. So the first step is accepting 100% responsibility of your life, not apportioning blames. Is the country, is leadership, is this, is that. When you take 100% responsibility, you begin to ask yourself, what is it that I can do? What is it that I have not done? What is it that I should do? So the first step is self-awareness. Who are you?
Okay.
How much of yourself do you know? You need to carry out a SWOT analysis of your own self. Being able to identify your strengths, your weakness, your opportunities and threats. Your strengths opens up your opportunities, and your weaknesses shows you the threats, the things you can face in life. When you understand the strengths you have, you begin to expand your skill on how to maximize. Self-management and self-leadership is key for your success in every aspect of life. Many a times you see that people learn skills, and you think that because the person is maybe a teller, that person should be successful. That's just a skill. The management aspect of that skill, the financial management, the strategies of how to grow the business is still lacking.
Interesting.
And many people do not believe in self-development, especially at the lower cadre.
Okay, thank you so much.
So self-development is essential for success, because you can give what you do not have.
Interesting. I mean, thank you so much. I mean, first knowing yourself in order for you to manage your finances, that is another deep angle, and I think that's amazing. But okay, let me come back to you, Mr. Isaac. Let me just paint a scenario. So you are a housewife. Your monthly feeding money is, let's say, 50,000. It has not increased, but the price of things in the market, like we all know, has increased. What should the average housewife who is watching us, who is saying, how do I go around this 50,000? What do I do? It's still 50,000. Oga has not added a kobo to my 50,000, but the prices in the market are screaming high.
And their mouths to feed.
And their mouths to feed. So what can you give tips? Like, okay, is it bulk buying? What tips can you give to the people watching us?
Sorry, my dear. The answer is diversification.
Oh, okay.
Yes. She has to look for other sources of revenue. Maybe she will now venture into small agric farming.
Oh.
Yes. To augment.
Okay.
Yes. You need to have other sources to make up. So that your source of income will not be one.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That will help.
Okay. How about bulk buying? Let's say instead of going to the market every day to buy one small, you buy a bit, so that because the prices are increasing, that way at least you have more at home, and then it can help you, because buying in little bits is more expensive, right? So how about bulk buying or things like that?
That is equally okay, but it's not as effective as when your income increases as well.
Of course, definitely.
Yeah. The solution is diversification. If you have other means
of income.
Maybe you are getting 50,000 naira from Oga, and now you have a way of getting your own 30,000. That will be 80,000, and then you will be fine.
Bring something to the table, basically. That's what he's saying.
So that way, we're now getting some fresh produce from the garden or the farm in homestead to merge with what we're purchasing from the market. Okay, very interesting direction our conversation is taking. And that's why Emeka has been doing his own research, talking about investment for growth. You know, we've talked here about saving, investing, spending. Many of us Many of us are reluctant to invest. Perhaps we've had negative experiences, but Emeka has done the task, has done the research. Emeka, please share. What did you find?
Whatever enterprise you're doing, find very creative ways of reducing your cost. It might require reducing the quantity without reducing the quality. Do not start a small business with loans. Start with your own money. Diversification is important, but it's important to the point where you must also learn the ropes, learn the intricacies and the secrets around those businesses, especially for bonds and stock and things like that, what they do that generates income for you is not in your control. There are dynamics that control the market. There are people, you are basically taking your money and buying into a business and saying, I have confidence that these people will do well over a period and they'll pay me dividend after a certain time, or I can sell to make money. So you need to also look at their books, look at what is their history, what have they done, what is the strength of the management of the place, how consistent have they remained, what has over the time helped them to grow the business. Same thing even for properties. You look at the market. You don't suddenly take money and say, okay, everybody is buying properties in Abuja because you live in Abuja. There are parts of Abuja where you go and put in money today, you buy a plot of land that I can assure you that in the next 1 year, you may likely not have development get to those places. So you make inquiries and understand, okay, what's happening in that area? What is the market saying? If you're investing for today to reap tomorrow, now there are certain investments you shouldn't put your money in.
Any investment that gives you high return is also associated with high risk. So even for people that are doing property also has high risk, okay? And we also know property doesn't have liquidity as much as investing in shares, okay? By that I mean, if you buy a property today and maybe tomorrow you are pressed for cash and you want to sell, you may not get immediate buyer. But if you buy shares today and tomorrow you're pressed for cash and you want to sell it, you can easily sell it. You go to the stock market through a stockbroker and sell off the shares. The maximum number of days it will take for you to get your money is 4 days. And that also means that the risk in property, because it is higher, you should also expect the returns from property to be higher. Inflation is one thing that investments are scared of, because it erodes the value of the investments and the returns. Take, for example, today, inflation rate is running at 33.2%. So for a typical investor, he's also looking at what kind of investments will I make to earn a return that is above inflation rate. Because if the return is below inflation rate, that means the return is giving you a real negative rate of return. So the return has to be above inflation rate for you to have some value addition. And today, unfortunately, there are very few investments that are in that class because of the high rate of inflation. Okay, even the government treasury bills or government securities. So when you're investing not just one asset class, but diversify in such a way that even when there is inflation, you have some other asset classes that are paying you, compensating you for that. A good example is commodity. Okay, so commodity investment is one investment that if inflation is rising, returns are also rising.
It's one thing to start a business, it's something else to ensure it succeeds. Because when you start a business, you now become an employer of labor, and you now have the responsibility of paying the wages of those who work under you. Let's spend time with our friends in Enugu as they delve into entrepreneurship and side hustles. Who's hustling on the side? Enugu, share, please.
Starting up a business is one. Keeping it afloat and adding value to the economy is another. Victoria Chukudolwe and Chinaza Njom though professionals in their area of study veered towards entirely different businesses.
I never knew I was going to run a school or be a proprietress because I read estate management. So I looked at myself like, okay, I'm going to have like a big estate firm somewhere, sell houses and all of that. But for some reason, I had a pull. Something kept pulling me. Maybe because I come from a family of educationists, my dad, my mom, and Head Start is actually a borrowed name from my mom's school. So when the pull became very, very strong, I decided to establish mine in Enugu.
I think the environment I grew up in drew me into fashion as a young man. My mom was a seamstress, and I think that was where the seed was planted.
Victoria Chukudolwe, an estate manager, is actively running a thriving business of school management.
For some reason, I love children, and I knew I was going to help parents form their children into young adults. So I knew I was going to do this and do it well, but I just didn't know when.
Chinaza Njom, an engineer, is blazing trail in the fashion industry.
Yes, it's a viable business, and to tell the truth, I'm just scratching the surface. There's a whole lot more that can be done in fashion.
However, starting up a business can be likened to surfing in an open sea, navigating through the shark-infested waters of business.
Starting up was tough. We're still not done. We're still a work in progress, but I thank God for the zeal and the push that I have.
It was something that needed tenacity, which is an important quality that every entrepreneur needs. Tenacity and grit, you need it. If you don't have it, you drop by the wayside. There are good days, there are bad days, but we still move. It's difficult to find young people today who want to learn the job and do the job because they feel the money doesn't come in as quick as they want something that will give them money immediately. But the fashion industry is not a quick money business. Truth be told, it's not a quick money business. And that has caused us many issues with a lot of young people coming in and seeing it as not being what they want, and they move out as well immediately. Another issue is the issue of electricity, which increases our cost of production. If there is no constant supply, you have to run generators, sometimes 24 hours of the day.
But these challenges notwithstanding, is there hope for survival for the average entrepreneur?
Before I started, I did like a feasibility check, so I knew, the agencies I was supposed to deal with. So I dealt with them. But this year we've had steeper hurdles to kind of climb. But we thank God we're doing it.
Fashion in Nigeria is still very unregulated. That's why a lot of things go wrong, both with hiring employees and keeping them, and then even with the issue of pricing and materials. There are a lot of unregulated things in our fashion industry in Nigeria. And I'm hoping that in the time to come, systems will be set up to put these things in order. To aid us and make business better for us, I will implore the government to please help in the area of power supply. If it's made steady and constant, it will help us a lot. Another place that they can help us is the issue of multi-taxing. If the government can find a way to reduce the tax burden on small and medium-scale businesses, it will help us a lot.
It's already a handful starting and sustaining a business in Nigeria. Hence, all hands must be on deck to provide enabling environment for business growth, especially the government.
Thank you so much, NTA Enugu. I mean, entrepreneurial journey comes with a whole lot of challenges and rewards. So we're going to cut straight into that conversation, and I'll start with Mrs. Kinsley. Now, for you to become an entrepreneur, what is most important? The money to start or the passion to begin? Money, passion should come first.
Thank you. Passion.
Oh, okay.
Like I said earlier, entrepreneurship is an expression of an inner passion. There is something, a seed inside each and every one of us that is seeking expression. So the ability to have that expression gives birth to that entrepreneurship. There are some people that naturally they want to do a thing. They see themselves, they want to, for myself, for instance, I grew up liking men's wears. Oh, yeah. So I started my business with men's wears. I didn't have to sew. All I needed to do was to get the material, take it to the tailor, they made shirts. So I started everything I am today from 5 shirts.
But did you design the shirts, or just go to a tailor and say, make men clothes? Or how did you do it?
I just give the tailor the materials, and they made shirts. I wanted shirts. You see, in business, in entrepreneurship, we must understand the role each other plays. You don't have to have it all. And that's why management skill is very essential. Your ability to manage your own skill. I have the ability to sell. You have the ability to make. So you make, I sell.
Synergies.
Okay,
good one.
And that's how life generally is, even here in the studio.
Okay.
You are working in synergy for you to achieve success. So entrepreneurship starts with a drive of what service you want to render. How can I help? We are not getting it right. Many people are not getting it right today because they don't ask the right questions. Many people have wrong attitude to life.
Okay. Let's let Mr. Okay here take it from this point. You have taken off, you have succeeded. Thankfully, you've also rightly said many people have taken off and are not succeeding. And it's not because sometimes they haven't done their feasibility studies or they've not been proactive or forecasted what challenges may be. There are other hidden loopholes. She said that you must find a gap that your business or your service will fill. But let me still go back to where we took off from, which is managing personal finances. Obviously, she began her business with her resources. Sometimes some businesses need to leverage on other resources. Let's talk about that. Your personal can start small. Sometimes you need more than what you have to start a business. What ought you to do? How do you go to the other people who you need their support to make your business succeed? Not everyone will be selling shirts. There are a myriad of businesses that are not succeeding because they don't have the management know-how, like we've learned from Mrs. Kelechi today.
Thank you. Just like Madam Kelechi said, the key thing is passion. For you, the entrepreneur, to be able to see the business opportunities that others don't see. The moment you have that passion and you have the market, that is where you supply whatever products you're producing, you're good to go. Okay. Finance is key. You can go borrowing funds to finance whatever thing you want to do, but you must have that passion. Okay. You must see
know
that.
Why some businesses are failing in spite of this? They move. There are many succeeding.
Yes.
There are quite a number that don't last beyond 5 years. Some collapse in the first year. Some get to 2, 3. Some don't make it, and after a while you even forget that business existed. In Nigeria, we have many big buildings that we know former companies and businesses were once housed there.
Especially when you don't have what we call financial prudence.
Oh, goodness.
You have the tendency to fail. That is the discipline. You must have, you don't give what you don't have. You don't go spending what you don't have. You must limit your spending to what your income is.
Is that why businesses fail?
Yes. If you're doing that, you won't have any problem.
Yeah, okay. Most times, talking about managing personal finances, there's something that comes to mind. I mean, debt. In our local parlance, we say gbese. Some people, before the salary comes, in the office, people bring things for sale. You're picking. And so before your salary comes, the salary is even done by the time the salary comes. I mean, especially we women, we are more guilty of gbese. Can you talk to that, speak to that, Madam Kelechi?
Yeah, it's many people are not authentic to themselves. They're not honest to themselves.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah. They want to live a life of other people. You see, authenticity helps you to enjoy yourself on your way to where you're going to. You don't have to be me, I don't have to be you, I just have to be myself. And life is step by step. The fact that I'm here today doesn't mean that I won't get there tomorrow. They say the journey of million steps starts with a step. So contentment is an issue. But you know, I will always tell you that self-development is key, because you can't give what you don't have. People operate on the level of what they know. What you don't know, you don't know. Businesses fail because many people think empowerment is about acquiring skill and setting up a business. I'm sure you attend a lot of trainings here, even with all the training you have already. But an entrepreneur hardly gets any training after he has acquired the training to be a teller. And how on earth do you think he will be successful? You can see, I have a degree in sociology, a degree in law. I had just finished my MBA global business, and you think I'm going to fail? Hell no.
Okay, I like that. The confidence is oozing out.
So when you see a person who is not improving, you don't know what is happening in the industry where you are, how do you think you can grow? You need that improvement. So the issue of overspending starts with one who doesn't have vision, who doesn't have goal. You are going to nowhere. You're taking a cruise to nowhere. Because if you have a destination, you'll be focused getting to your destination, and you wouldn't want any distraction on your way.
Interesting.
So that means there are some sacrifices we ought to make. So it's those sacrifices we have to learn to make.
It is
called to do without.
It is called delayed gratification.
Amazing.
Gratification.
Nice
And
one.
briefly put, you, like she said, you don't give what you don't have.
Yes, true.
Limit your expenditure to your income.
Okay.
If you do that, you're good.
So don't put off your phones at the end of the month.
Let me still analyze further. If you are supposed to be taking ordinary tea, please don't go to take over tea. When you do that, you're causing problem for yourself. Just limit your expenditure to your income.
If you are meant to drink really water, don't look at juice.
You're with me.
Well, I think I want to chip in something there.
Okay.
You know, when you talk about expenditure, if you spend actually what you have, you may actually also get bankrupt.
Trouble.
You're not supposed to spend what you have.
Tell us.
You're supposed to keep something from what you have.
That is saving.
And that is where the area of investment comes.
Savings and investment.
Savings and investment comes. And I tell people that number one investment you need to make is in your own self.
Knowledge. Skills.
Knowledge.
Self-development.
Which is one thing people neglect a lot. It's easier for you to go and buy gold. It's easier for you to buy a plot of land. It's easier for you to do quite a number of things. But I tell you something, KC will always make money, no matter where you drop me. For as long as this head is joined here, I'm going to make money. Even if you take everything I have, for as long as this head is functioning, the money will always flow. Why? Because what it's making the money is inside. It's not outside. It's not in Tinubu's government. It's not in Buhari's government. It's inside me.
It's amazing.
And that's what we should encourage.
But can I say something? Can
Yes,
I ask
please.
you something? What you're saying, it even goes beyond the degrees.
Yeah.
Because we know people who have masters and PhD and they soon need to ask for gari and rice every now and again, and they cannot pay school fees.
Amazing.
So let's break it down to the nitty-gritty. What are those qualities you need to succeed? Just enumerate maybe 3, for example. Talk about knowledge. Move further, break it down.
Yes. You see, knowledge is a bit ambiguous. So what you learn is very important. If you are a doctor, a medical doctor that earns very well, and you do not have a financial knowledge, you definitely will be poor. Many people want to be rich, but they know nothing about money.
Okay.
Money is something you should learn. How to make money. What do I do? You start by knowing how to set your financial goals. That is deciding what you want. Most times people think that challenges are bad, and in fact will go to prayers to address the issue of challenges. But hardship actually helps you to unlock your potentials. Hardships in most cases are not there to kill you. They are there to help you develop skills, to help you untap the potentials that are in you that you have not realized.
Okay, thank you so much,
Good
Madam
thing.
Kelechi. Thank you so much. Okay, what doesn't kill you? They say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So let's allow NTA Mina join this conversation, and it's all about securing your financial future.
Insurance plays a vital role in protecting your financial well-being. It provides a cushion against life's uncertainties and ensures that your loved ones are taken care of in your absence. Despite its benefits, many Nigerians are reluctant to invest in insurance policies.
People don't understand the concept, and also lack of understanding, lack of understanding from the prospect side, and they believe that it's for the old, not for the young, and also for the rich. So due to these reasons, people shy away from insurance.
These common misconceptions often deter Nigerians from securing their financial future through insurance. It's essential to educate ourselves about the benefits of insurance and make informed decisions to protect our assets and loved ones.
When you get insurance, insurance is always going to be there to stand in the gap. So instead of you losing your property, for somebody who has gone to the bank to get a loan, this person would be able, in the case of any eventuality, you got a loan of 50 million naira from the bank, you started up a liquid soap manufacturing company, you used your house and the car as a collateral. If anything happens to the person who has gone to the bank to get a loan, the insurance company will be the one to pay off the outstanding loan balance to the bank. So in that case, the family of this person who died, or in the case of any eventuality, would still be retaining the house, they will retain the car and retain the company. So in the case where this person does not have insurance, what happens? The family forfeits everything. And this is the basic importance of getting insurance.
Achieving financial independence and planning for retirement are key milestones in securing your financial future. By setting financial goals, saving diligently, and investing wisely, you can build a nest egg that will support you in your golden years.
The reason why the insurance firm is in place is to make life easy for people. All right, insure your businesses so that when you have losses that result either from fire outbreak or from theft, which we call burglary, now you can have where you can go to make your claim, or and if such claim is made, you can return back to your business and grow from there again.
Whether you are a young professional starting your career or a retiree enjoying your golden years, there's an insurance policy tailored to meet your specific needs. Understanding the types of insurance available and consulting with experts can help you make informed decisions about your financial security.
Savings is something that you do against unknown. Either we like it or not, time will come that we can no longer work, or we are no longer agile to provide what is required of us to keep our life moving. Now, the little we are doing today, and out of it, if we are able to save, this is what we are going to fall back tomorrow, and that is going to be our saving grace.
Protecting your financial future requires proactive planning, informed decision-making, and a commitment to securing your assets and loved ones. By embracing insurance, planning for retirement, and making sound financial choices, you can build a solid foundation for a secure and prosperous future.
That's interesting. As easy as it sounds, and the ability many of us have to comprehend, it so happens that still quite a number of people face retirement without any specific plans, and they fall into the category or the area that everyone has been telling them to prevent. It has been happening, it is still happening, and if care is not taken, it will continue to happen. So now we've talked about savings. We must admit here that irrespective of how diligent many people save, yearly or monthly or biannually, the savings will come to almost naught in terms of investment or setting up a business. So there are things you can do to augment that savings. Then we've been told about investment. Now we're talking about insurance, leveraging so that your future is assured. We heard that package, they talked about fire, outbreak, losing things. But what we did not mention was bankruptcy. When we talked about businesses failing, many of them go bankrupt. Are there things they ought to have done so that many times they are also in debt? They've taken loans that they cannot pay, an embarrassment all over the place. How can they utilize financial knowledge even when their businesses do not get to the level that they hope or they aspire for? And the businesses close, they become bankrupt.
Come again with your question so that I get to.
Okay, I said in that package we were just listening to, there was talk about insurance, preparing for your future. Retirement was also mentioned. So I said we've talked about savings here, we've talked about investment. Now let's talk about insurance, how you can leverage on insurance to protect your future. For example, people start businesses and they become bankrupt. But there are ways you can still settle your debts even when you become bankrupt, or have something to come up with, perhaps to start again with more knowledge. So how can we secure our financial future? Leveraging on insurance, perhaps with a focus on bankruptcy.
I think we need more enlightenment on insurance because many of us are ignorant. Let me use myself as an example. There was a time my friend compelled me to do a comprehensive insurance on a vehicle. But because of my mindset, I had an accident with an Okada person. Do you know I went and treated the Okada man and then took my vehicle to mechanic for repairs without falling back to the insurance fund. So we need more enlightenment so that we will now begin to appreciate the role insurance
you had
plays.
the backup, but you didn't know what it
I did.
And how they will help you.
Yes, I did the comprehensive
insurance. Were you paying your
insurance.
premiums?
I say I did the comprehensive insurance for a particular year. And that year I had an accident.
I didn't even fall back on it.
I didn't, my mind didn't go there.
I think
so we need more enlightenment.
Yes, I also think it's our socio-cultural background, where we do not, because the rate of penetration as far as insurance is concerned in our society is very low. And it has to do with, I think it's religion or cultural. We just keep saying God take control, and we do not take insurance as seriously as we should as a nation. We must be enlightened, like you said.
Yes,
and
if we appreciate the role of insurance, that insurance takes over your risk, and then we begin to leverage on it. We are good to go.
So messages are coming in. Let me take this one. It said, good morning. I am gaining so much from this program. Thank you. My question is, with the rate of inflation now, is it wise to save so much money? My name is Sophia Oyale from Ibadan. She said, is it safe to save? Let me take another one before you respond. I am Lord's Will Yusuf from Wakari, Taraba State. I'm really enjoying this program. This program is meant for mothers because some mothers don't cut their coat according to their size. They usually overspend. They don't save or plan on how to. They don't save or plan on how to save money. Please advise them to manage their resources. Thank you. I don't know why he says mothers are reckless.
Let's start from the mother in the house.
And then somebody says, we don't trust insurance people. They're not responsible. That's the mindset some people have.
A blanket statement.
Yeah, a blanket statement. Somebody is writing here. He didn't put his name, but he said, we don't trust them.
Our insurance is part of us. If we don't trust them, that means we don't trust ourselves. So the person is saying that he or she doesn't trust himself.
Okay, yeah. So Sophia says, with the rate of inflation, I'm saving this money and inflation is all-time high. What does this portend? Please, can you respond to this? Why save when inflation is eating up my money?
Well, you cannot at any point not afford to save. Because savings is the root of investment. If you do not put aside something, you will not have something to invest. So at every point in time, savings is very essential. But the question again is, what do you do with the savings?
Very critical.
Many people save to consume. So when you save and consume, is a waste of savings. Savings is actually for investment if you want to grow. And the things you spend your money on determines how far you go. If you spend your money buying liabilities, you will be poor. Wealth is predictable. Success is predictable. If you spend your money on assets, you will definitely grow financially. And what is assets? What brings money to you? What is liability? What takes money
Please
from
mention
you?
some things that can you quickly mention some assets and some liabilities so that you make it clearer
Some
for people?
of the liabilities we buy for women is ashuri. This person is waiting, this one is doing this one. I don't get involved.
Be prudent.
You buy what you need. One is that you can't subject me to buy a particular thing. Perhaps I don't even like it or something. I don't need it. I buy things according to my needs. That's it. An average woman wants human hair. The human hair or whatever you have in your wardrobe is enough to buy a plot of land. and you don't have it, I'm not saying it's bad, but you check your words. If you can afford to buy a thing, why not? I started by saying, be real to yourself.
Affordability is what is key.
Yeah, authenticity.
Don't keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, authenticity. You could afford to buy something of 1,000, and another person can afford to buy something of 50 naira. When the person tries to buy something of 1,000 that is not meant for him or her, you are overspending. So we must be authentic to ourselves. Tell yourself the truth. Know your words and be able to work with your words. Assets, for instance. When you have possibly buy a land is an asset which appreciates
over time.
Over time. Yes. I said again, in the area of personal development, when you acquire a skill is an asset. Some people are just a skill away from their fortune. Perhaps there is just something you need to add to what you're doing right now that will take you to the global world.
I am inspired.
There's something I want to ask you, but I will ask you both when we return from this break. You are watching Weekend Deal, and we're getting real life information. And she's a practical example of what she's sharing. That means if you listen and you apply, like she said, success is predictable, and we should not avoid it. We all can be successful if we are authentic to ourselves. A break beckons, we'll take it. We'll be right back. Don't go away. We're talking about managing our personal finances. You know, we always hear about personal accountant. I always wonder, how much does that person have that is calling his accountant? Can I use my thousands to be calling my accountant too? Let's wrap up with that.
Of course, yes. Because
will it be a free service?
Nothing is free, even in Freetown.
Okay.
Because accounting is all about what do you have, what have you spent, and what is your balance. So that guide, you need to be guided. You need to have a good guidance as to your financial activities. That is your income, your expenditure, your savings, and your investment. And you must start that early. You must start that early in life, because if you fail to plan, you have planned to fail.
Okay, so there are so many messages coming in.
Somebody needs to give us a
yes, I wanted her to answer to speak today. She said, I'm Chinyere from Asaba. When a person is generally lazy, no amount or level of knowledge or money invested in that person will work. No business will work, no skills, nothing works. How do you deal with a lazy person in business? An advice. Chinyere wants to know.
Yeah, people are lazy when they have not located their passion.
It's really true.
For what you think that is lazy, when you help the person to locate her passion, you will know that the person is not lazy. Sometimes people are very reluctant to accept their authentic passion. For instance, some women are very good with maybe makeup. Some are very fashionistic. All they do is fashion. But to go into the business of fashion, it looks down on the fashion. Sometimes if you engage that person to do that work for you, you realize that that person has that passion to get that thing done.
Getting the right passion.
But he does not, she or he does not want to accept that passion because he feels that it's a low level thing.
So we need to go.
And like she rightly said, we are differently endowed.
Yes, so you need to understand it. And
yes.
So it is possible to monetize and be successful with any driving passion, as long as you understand financial management. Okay.
So thank you for your messages. We'll be taking a whole lot of them tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us. Your messages are so many, and we love you for joining this conversation. We'll take your messages tomorrow.
Yes, learn how to manage your finances. If you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. God bless Nigeria. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Goodbye.